5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. It's another amazing day, another awesome episode of Paleocrat Diaries. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. Today is Tuesday, October 6th, and I've got to apologize. Right out of the gate, I've got to apologize. I'm running late. I'm running mad late. It's like 10:15 right now. This would never fly on AM/FM radio, by the way, or TV. You know, they'd be like, oh no, you're done. You're out. So I'm really grateful that I'm on neither of those mediums, because every once in a while something happens. And look, we've got a fantastic staff here, right? They're obviously slacking. Okay. They're obviously slacking. If the staff was on the ball, not only would I be on time and I would look a little bit better. My bags under my eyes are looking pretty big right now. It's like the kind of stuff that those really muscular dudes in vintage pictures from the circus that they lift, right? Those big heavy weights and stuff. Those are hanging right now, really low under my eyes. I'm looking like a basset hound. But more than that, we would have the intercom. And the intercom is just not here today. And it's really bumming me out. It's really, really, really bumming me out. And thank you, by the way, Bethany, in the comment section. She wrote, "We forgive and appreciate flexibility too." And she even has a little heart with a flex symbol. Look at that. Yeah, I'm getting there. You'll see. You guys are going to see the radical transformation of the Paleocrat. It's going to happen because it's already happening. You may not know this because, you only see me. It's a profile. Okay, so you only see from the chest down. So you barely even get to see my massive pectoral muscles. Right? But my stomach's been going down. I've been feeling really good about it. In fact, I've been at this weird place in my life because I've gone up and down for years of my life. And, to lose weight, and I got down to like 199 before quarantine. And then it was, let's say, the fall, right? So the fall of 2019, right? So I was getting down to 199 pounds, felt really great. Quarantine, then Christmas happens, that kind of thing. Start putting on a little bit of pounds. That kind of happens anyway, doesn't it? Who here loses weight between Thanksgiving and Christmas? Like, if you've lost weight between Thanksgiving and Christmas, let me know in the comment section. You can comment on any of the platforms, and they will be visible in, I have a chat stream that allows all the different comments. Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter where it's coming from. It all will go there. Let me know your secret. I'd love to know. But then quarantine happened, right? And quarantine was totally dumb for many different reasons. It was ridiculous. And one of the ridiculous things that happened is I gained a bunch of stinking weight, okay? It was miserable. I was depressed. I was so depressed. I remember I started smoking for a minute. I did. I was like, which is like the dumbest thing to do when you're dealing with quarantine because of something like COVID. You're like, oh, okay, what are you going to do to get yourself ready for that? And you're like, I'm going to go buy a pack of smokes. I did. I was smoking clove cigarettes, which, by the way, have gotten better under Donald J. Trump and under Obama. Oh, I made a video about that years and years ago. In fact, I think it's the only video available online where you can see me smoking. Okay. There may have been videos where you could see me vaping, but most of those videos were pre-recorded. And so we would edit stuff out of that. I don't want to be a bad influence on anybody, especially, there's a lot of kids watching this show, right? Because we got a lot of breastfeeding mamas that watch this show. We do. We got a lot of moms They watch. And so I don't want to be like, they're like, oh, well, what did you take away? Mr. Bannister vapes a lot. I didn't want that either. But I got really depressed, started gaining that weight. I figured out, man, I got to lose it. I got to lose the weight. And so I've been doing that carnivore diet, but I'm dying over here, guys, because I love it. I love eating carnivore. I love making the food. I like keto too. But then again, I've enjoyed, I'll even say this, I enjoyed being a vegan for the time that I was, because I made my own food. And I was really good about going and buying good food, making sure that it was healthy and delicious all the time. I enjoyed that. But I've been losing this weight, and the thing is, though, is every once in a while you start thinking like, man, that pizza's looking pretty good. Oh, anything with bread. I'd like some challah bread right now. Some of that braided bread. Oh, I want it. And my son had his birthday not long ago. And so everybody's eating some cake. And I'm thinking, man, I want some of that stinking cake. Like right now. Give me some of that cake. And but I didn't. I didn't do it. I didn't eat it. But it's in the freezer. It's waiting for me. I have cake in the freezer. And I've got these cookies. The kids, I don't know why they didn't like them. I mean, I'll learn. I mean, maybe I'll try them and be like, blah, Now I know why you guys did not like those cookies, because they're pretty darn gross. But until then, they look good. It's one of those things that, you see it and it looks like it would be delicious. Kind of like maybe, I don't know, candy corn or something. So, okay, we have a bunch of really great shows for you today. Yeah, we got a bunch of great shows. Oh, we do. We have a bunch of great articles for you, a bunch of great stories. Oh, man, what are we going to cover? For one, Trump is back, kiddos. Trump is back in business. And here's the thing. People can complain about that all day long. They can complain about it. The guy, I've been calling him the great champion. And there are people on Twitter who might be like, what is up with this guy? Why is he calling Donald Trump the great champion? There's a book. It's called The Fourth Turning. And I don't subscribe to everything in the book. Okay, the book takes a very cyclical view of history, right? That things just simply go in a cycle all the time. And he goes through it, he calls it the seculum, or the secula. And the idea is that, there's like an 80 to 100 year cycle for everything. And if you go back and you look, you'll see it's based on the idea you can see great wars spanning out over time. And the guys, it was two dudes that wrote this, and I think one of them is dead, and one of them, the guy that's still alive, if I remember correctly, he's the one who came up with the term millennials. So this guy wrote this book, I believe back in the 90s, predicted a number of things, right? Because this idea of a cycle is going to bring about different generations, that there would be a number of generations alive at the same time, and each one of these generations plays a particular role in response to the previous generation and their vision for the future, which that seems pretty, commonsensical. That happens. But that there's a greater kind of commonality over time than a lot of people at first blush may wish to admit. And so you have these different generations. One of them, let's say, goes through a war. And when they're done with the war, I mean, they're beat down. They lost people, right? Lost friends, family. And yet they're optimistic because they won. So they're through the thick of it. Then their kids have a reaction to that, right? Their kids are more skeptical. So you can take, for example, the generation that made it through World War II. And their kids, the boomers, you can see how the World War II generation kind of responded to that, right? They won, so guess what? We're making some babies. So this ends up happening. So you have the boomers. And then from the boomers, you got the Gen Xers, right? And then after the Gen Xers, you've got the millennials. And now we're down to what? Gen Z at this point. And they make a lot of predictions in the book, and not all of the predictions are accurate. Or they are, but for the wrong reasons. Like the idea that the millennials would be really strict about speech code, for example. But the idea in the book, it seems, is almost like it's because they're like religious in a more traditional sense. It's like, no, they have completely bought into the Kool-Aid cult, and that's what's going on. And so they need their speech codes and their safe spaces and everything else. But the way that this plays out, but through it all, predicted that around 2015, 2016, that you would see the rise of this person called the Gray Champion. Let's get this banner over here. What am I doing? What am I doing? And so the thing is, the Gray Champion is going to be this individual that as the world is coming to, in fact, a kind of war, right? And by kind of, I mean like full-blown, whole world is at stake here, right? Globalism and nationalism rising. Okay? Going against each other. That intersection I've talked about many times, where you have paradigms that are rising and paradigms that are falling, and that intersection, that place of where they're passing, that place is volatile. It's hot. We're seeing that now. Not just in the United States, but globally we're seeing that. Okay, with the rise of nationalism, you're seeing it. But there will be a person, and that person shall rise. And that person who rises, they called the Gray Champion. And the Gray Champion, in my opinion, is Donald Trump. And we can see that for many reasons. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about him and Wim Hof. Everybody, man, there's a video. You got to see it. There's a video. He goes up. He's taking deep breaths. You know, the guy's recovering. And he walks up the stairs. He's there at the White House. Powerful video of this. And he's taking deep breaths and breathing out. And somebody wrote and was like, oh, yeah, they deleted this video. They took this one out of the video for the awesome one I'll share with you here. And they're like, oh, my gosh, he totally took that out. He's ashamed. He's gasping for breath. And I'm like, bro, look at the tempo of that, man. I'm telling you, we got to find out, where was Wim? Where was he? Were you in Europe, Wim, or were you at Walter Reed? Where were you, buddy? But okay, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that story about the inception thing, about the idea that scientists have figured out how to plant things in dreams. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about crazy left-wing violence and this fraud that is being peddled right now by the Democratic Party and their henchmen in the deep state. And we got to get rid of Chris Wray. He's got to go. Christopher Wray, you got to go. He shouldn't have been there. Trump is a tolerant guy. People can say he's not tolerant. Trump has tolerated a bunch of goons for a very long time. He could have come in and just gone through all these agencies and been like, your butt is out. All right, Honcho, hit the road, bro. Could have done it. But he didn't. And you got to wonder why sometimes. And I think it's because he's just, Americana. Americana guy. He's like, look, America's made up of all different types of people. And yes, Jason Williamson in the comment section, planting thoughts in dreams. It was an MIT. I'm citing from MIT. I'm not going to, National Enquirer for this. It's a good show. With the exception of one thing, man. And I just got to say this right out of the gate. I try in real time. Okay, people will send me stories. I encourage you to send me stories. I encourage you to send me memes. And every once in a while, in the meme section, right, in the story section, I'll go through and I'll be like, is this real? And I tell my staff to get on it, and they can only do so much in real time. They're good. I got some of the best staff in the world, right? They're really, really good. But even they're not perfect. Even they're not perfect. And I'm not perfect. So there's been times in the past, I think one time in my life, that I have had a fake news story that actually just plain out got me. Right? And it was live in real time. I'm on the air, AM/FM, talking about some story of a woman who's these burglar rapist dudes busting her house, and they got her tied up, and the guy across the street, he looks through the window. It's nighttime. The lights are on the second floor of the woman's house. And he can see inside that she's been gagged and they've got guns and they're going to do terrible things to her and all this. And he's like, oh my gosh. And he gets his gun out. And he calls 911, but it's too late. And he sits there and he readies his fire, and right as they're about to whack her, boom, kills those guys. And it was like a perfect story, like wrapped up as nice and fancy. But by the end, they quote the cop, the sheriff that supposedly showed up. And I'm telling the story on the air. Okay, and I didn't select this story. I won't say who did. But I didn't select this one. I'm just talking about it. And as we're coming down to the end of the show, the music is coming on. I can hear it through the headphones. We're about to hit the off-air button, and all of a sudden, it hits me. This thing is fake. This ain't real, man. This ain't real. This is fake. The story never happened, man. And it was too late. It was too late. So I felt really badly about that. I'm like, dude, I got that's some fake news, man. That was some fake news. So on the show, sometimes we'll go through some of these stories. Like it happened yesterday, the lady with the oil being taken out of her bloodstream. Because she ate a bunch of fried chicken. Oh my gosh, man. And I'm like, oh, dude, is this real? Come on, give me a break. And we're trying to find ourselves a hyperlink. We went on Google. We Googled that bad boy in real time to show people, look, people can read news, even outlandish news, and they can distinguish, and here are the things to look for in order to know if you're getting owned or not. Now, that's a little bit different if somebody sends a screenshot of an article during meme time, because this show ends off with memes every time. We always have fun with memes, don't we? And if you like the memes, if you want to share memes and stories, funny or not, things you would like me to cover, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. But the thing is, there was one about Salon. Oh, one from Salon. I saw this bugger shared all over the place. This is a tragic thing. Salon talking about the end of the white race and all of this stuff. And it plays into so many things that are going on right now. Talking about eradicating whiteness. But that's taking it to another level. And it plays into the idea of a white minority in the United States, right? By a certain period in time. They project it. They used to deny that was even at all remotely possible. I mean, we are a European, we've descended from Europeans, the founding of this country. So the idea that we would no longer reflect the founders in even that way was something outrageous. But all of these conversations, those are real conversations. And so this was a rather clever thing. But it happened in meme time. So I think I'm going to make it so that I don't know if I'm going to cover memes that are supposed stories from places. Because I don't want to go and be like, let's check this out in real time. That's safe for the beginning of the show. So maybe I'll do that, where if it's a meme of something that's funny like that, and we want to do the real-time fact-checking thing with fake news, we can put that in the front. But we ain't going to do that in the back. No more. Black White in the comment section says, hi, everyone. Let's beat the YouTube censorship and share the broadcast. Yes. Yeah. Black White, share all over the place. Share it with your friends, your family, your classmates and coworkers, all those frenemies too, all of them. Share it. They'll love the show, believe me. They will love this show. All right. We're going to go right now. We are going to go. Oh, can I scooch that bugger over? No. I apologize if some of this is cut off. Okay. I sincerely apologize. All right. Let's see here. Inside UK's messiest bedrooms with fast food containers on floor and dead plants. What? Okay, so this is... How would you confirm, in fact, that this is the messiest bedroom? I'd almost want photo evidence or something that... Well, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, this is gross. And by the way, this kind of thing grosses me out. I don't know what you weirdos are doing sending me this kind of stuff. Why are you doing this to me? It's like mukbang, man. Oh, mukbang. That junk is the worst. Junk is the worst. Yeah, inside UK's messiest bedrooms with fast food. Have you guys ever walked into a bedroom that was like so hit that it made you want to puke? Have you? Let me know in the comments section. I'll talk about it. The nation's filthiest bedrooms have been revealed. like the government's got a running report on it. This is by what, Courtney Pochin? Pocken? How would you pronounce that? Mirror. Have been revealed as part of an annual competition by Bed SOS. Okay, well, wow, so it's a competition to find the messiest rooms. Now, do they clean them up? Do they clean these things? Because that's gross. I mean, just look at that thing. But that might just be one part of a bedroom. You know what I'm saying? If you think your room is untidy, you might just want to think again. No. If you think your room's not tidy, please clean it up, right? And it's like the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I struggle. That's what the maids are for. You know what I'm saying? And my McMansion that I've got. But they spend so much time shining my gold coins in the pool, you know, that I jump off and swim like Scrooge McDuck in the pool. Oh, and making my food, and working really hard. They've been on overtime, man, trying to find a really good intercom system so that we can talk during the show with the staff. That's because the UK's messiest bedroom has officially been revealed, so you can rest assured that yours probably isn't all that bad. It might be. A nationwide competition to search for the filthiest bedroom has revealed that it belongs to a woman. What? Really? You know, I gotta admit, though, the messiest places I've ever been in my life were with women. I'm serious, man. It was some of the messiest people in the world. Also, some of the cleanest. It's like dudes have kind of a standard mess that they make. You know what I'm saying? Do you have like messes in certain places? Like, you know, it's kind of focused all around one place, like maybe around a chair that you're sitting in a lot. You've got stacks of books, you know, dirty clothes or something, but that it kind of is focused in one or two places around the house, or that if it is in many different rooms, it's more like an organized mess. You know what I'm saying? Wives out there, can you attest to this? Can you attest to this? Yeah, Sarah. Sarah from County Down, Northern Ireland. Okay, yeah, here we go. Sarah's room's completely covered in rubbish and clutter. Listen to the way they talk. From McDonald's containers. Man, America's influence is even there. You know, like I said, that was part of the story that I told, the story about me being the fattest person in London for a while. And you know, I saw finally somebody toppled me on that. An American, and then somebody else walking down the road drinking from a mega cup from McDonald's. America's influence, man. Biscuit wrappers on the floor, unmade bed, and a dead plant. I mean, okay. This is pretty nasty. Yeah, okay, this is gross. What's wrong with you, Sarah? What's going on with you, Sarah? What's that one program? What's that one program? It's a book. Is it Cone Marie? Right? Where you clean up your house. It's like what is it, Japanese? It's this idea of getting rid of things you don't love. She's a little mystical about it. Touch everything. You know, look at it. Maybe caress it a little. No. But the idea that, you know, you look at it, you hold it, and you tell yourself, do you really love this? And not to hand stuff down unless those people actually ask for it, which I understand that too. But there'd be a lot of things that I know that the boys would get rid of. That if my son Athanasius, if he got rid of it and didn't mention it to Ambrose, legitimate things, by the way, that Athan may no longer use, but that Ambrose legit could and even should use. You got to roll with it. You know, I don't know if she's by herself or if she's married, if she's got kids. So it might be a little bit different, but it's a good idea. This person here, Sarah, obviously needs to be reading some of that KonMari stuff. Because this is nasty gross. And look at that floor. I mean, what, the idea, for example, look at that cup. Look at that cup. I mean, who just thought, well, I'm done with this cup of, a milkshake. Just throws it on the floor. I don't know, man. This is pretty bad. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been in a room where I was walking on stuff and it was like pizza that hadn't been eaten. And it was actually a complete layer of stuff on the floor. There was no carpet anywhere. No carpet. It was just a layer of papers and food. Oh, yeah, pizza. What did I tell you? That is nasty. This person, and look at the bread over there. What's wrong with this person? Are they like a shut-in or something? Congratulations to our winner. No, man, no congratulations. Yeah, oh, don't worry, though. With so many entries, clearly you're in good company. They give him a new bed. Apparently they say, look, you got, oh, come on, man. Dude, how can people sleep like that? That's just trash. That is trash. I hope you all feel better about your own lives seeing this. It's kind of like watching, really terrible things, like watching a flood go through and people are being swept up and everything, and you got some guy on a beach going, wow, that looks like a weird looking wave. And you go, oh, no, that's terrible. That guy's dead. I mean, really, you're playing into this idea that you're not dead. Thank God for that, right? Poor sucker's gone. You're fine, kind of thing. I hope you feel a little bit of that with this right here. A little bit of that. Because this is... no way. Just no way. Look at this. That person's like, well, it is actually my trash can. Oh. This is where kids are sleeping. Oh, no. Are they going to blame that little dude, throw him under the bus? Look at that little guy. Oh, man, poor guy. Poor guy. We're moving on. Okay? I'm not going to watch that forever, man. Come on. Okay. A mutant two-headed snake slithers into grandmother's home through the door left open. It's already scary enough to me, the idea of seeing a snake sneak in the house. He's like, hey, what's up, bro? I'm here. I'm like, no, you are not. You are out, buddy. You are gone. You're done, dude. You are done. Oh. By the way, before we move on, in the comment section, yes, we got Bethany says, Loudy, yes. Organized chaos. Yeah, she mentions her husband, Adam. Yeah, organized chaos for sure. Talking about messes and dudes and everything and how we take care or don't take care of our messes. Totally true. Mr. Petgrave, good to see you in the comments. Honestly, some people just don't know how to clean once it gets to a certain point. I agree with that. Yeah. Mutant two-headed snake slithers, of course. This is crazy. Jeannie Wilson was at home with her family when a two-headed snake slithered into her home after the door was left open. A rare discovery that affects just 1 in 100,000. I've got some weird junk going on with me that it's like 1 in 100,000 or stuff like that. And in fact, the two thing going on here. I was born. I should show a picture of this. I was born with 2 thumbs on my right hand. In fact, this is a video show. I can show this. Let's get it back to the big screen for a second. Hold on. Let me scooch up here.
5.
Transition to that.
4. 3.
We'll do 2. The main screen still. That way people know who they're watching. Okay. Okay. You see this? Watch this. That is as far as I can bend my thumb. And look at this. That is a knuckle. So if you put the two together, watch this. See? I can bend. Yeah. People ask me, they're like, are you serious? Were you really born with 2 thumbs on one hand? Why would you lie about that? I got a massive scar, man. I got a knuckle. I got some arthritis up in that bad boy. Okay? So that right there already is, you're dealing with pretty interesting numbers about that. I've also got cervical ribs. I cannot show those, though. Okay? I cannot show cervical ribs. And thanks a lot, Jason. You go, ew. Are you talking about the snake? You talking about my hand, man? Jason Williamson. Thank you for watching, by the way. Yeah, out that thing, by the way. So, no, the cervical ribs, so I've got that right here, right, is a deformation to be born with 2 thumbs on one hand. They took that bugger off pretty early. I'm kind of bummed. I think I'd be pretty dope at video games. I might like those new controllers better. I've always said that I liked the early Nintendo controllers better and stuff like that. I like the simplicity of, left, right, up, down, select, start, A, B, and just call it quits with that. Going back and forth, back and forth. It makes it hard doing classical guitar, not gonna lie. Makes it hard. Yeah. And so, the thing is like, that is a deformation. But I have a mutation, too. I have a mutation. And that mutation, man, I found out about that bugger in basic training. I have 2 ribs, 2 fully grown. They're not rib. They call them that. And they look like ribs, kind of, but they're not as big, right? They're much smaller. And they're up high, connected to that part in your cervical spine. Really kind of up high where your neck and your back kind of come together in that chunky, bony part up there. And I got 2, and they grow like this. They look like angel wings. They don't feel like angel wings. They do not feel good. I thought for years, I'm like, man, my back, I need to massage my back. Oh, no, it wasn't that. And in fact, massaging the back could do real damage. I could stroke out. If it's got those like kind of spiky... If it crystallizes, right? Whatever it's called. It's got little spikes all over it. Spurs. If that happens and you push too hard and you get an artery that goes over it, woo, buddy, you're bringing me to the hospital stat, right? Oh. Brian in the comment section says, as long as the snake wasn't venomous, you'd keep it. You'd keep a snake. I've held some snakes, dude. I have held snakes. And I know people who've owned snakes. I think it's almost like a certain kind of person who holds and keeps snakes, right? Maybe the kind of guy that would have piranhas. So maybe I wouldn't doubt, man, you'd keep that snake. You would keep it. But I would even think about it at that point. I mean, what do you do with the 2-headed snake? You don't kill it. You just, because then you're not killing it, you're killing them. You know what I'm saying? At that point, that is a legit personal pronoun for that snake. And yes, Jason, mutation is the key to human evolution. Here's the thing about that, though. I keep telling people, I'm like, look, I got all sorts of things going on. Maybe I'm like the spawning of a new breed with cervical ribs. And we all eventually, everybody's in pain. And everybody's got to have one of those Theracanes. And I think, I don't know if I have my Theracane down here or not. If I had my intercom, I'd let the staff know. Because I'd come down in the dungeon every show. Yeah, what did they do with this snake? What did they do with that thing? Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, that's crazy. That is crazy. What kind of snake is this, by the way? What kind of snake is that? I don't even know. 2-headed snakes face an uphill battle for survival, sometimes even struggling to move properly due to having 2 independent brains. Like I said, them. Imagine the difficulty. Have you guys seen the videos? Have you seen the videos of those ladies that share the same body? That's remarkable, by the way. They're teachers, man. They seem like really cool chicks. I would like to interview them, The only problem is, man, if you interview people, I don't want to interview people and have it kind of feel like, a Ripley's thing. Like, oh, hey, everybody, check it out. The people that have two heads kind of thing. Because they're smart women. Adults at this point. What? What the? Is that a baby one? That's the size of the snake? What? So this was a tiny snake. Because that looks big. There's no way that's the same thing. Yeah, I guess so. Look, those are grass. That's grass. Wow, man, it's a tiny little snake. I wonder how big that bugger's going to get. It's a rat snake. Ugh, that just doesn't sound right. See, Brian in the comment section, he knew it. In the comment section, when I sold insurance, I went into a taxidermist and there was a two-headed cow right in your face. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the taxidermist, if he saw that and he's like, hey, look, do you guys mind if I just, keep the heads of this thing? I'd like to put it in my business. All right, last funny story. We don't have as many stories that are fun as we did last episode yesterday. And if you missed yesterday because I told you we wouldn't have a show on Monday, it was one of those big surprise things. What I did is I pre-recorded. I'll have to do that again, actually, this upcoming weekend because apparently there is another doctor's appointment. And for all those who are praying, I feel badly about this. Posted yesterday that my son was going to go see a cardiologist, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on, dude? Why is Ambrose going to see a cardiologist? Is everything okay? And I have all these people messaging me and stuff. Yes, man, he's okay. He's been dealing with kind of a faint. He's been faint at times, not recently. In the last 4 years, maybe 4 times, 4 or 5 times. Where he's at church, he might be kneeling, and then he stands, boom, he kind of falls, or he gets real dizzy all of a sudden, or he gets real tired. So we were kind of nervous a little bit about it, and they did blood work, they did stuff where they little stickies all over his body. All right, so he got to do that, and then on top of that, they had him lay down. They did the blood pressure, him laying down, then standing up, and they found that he's within the spectrum for normal, right? So he's not no low blood pressure, but he's on the low end of that. So when you stand up, your blood pressure drops. When you're laying down and you stand, when you're laying down, the blood is at the level of the heart. You stand up, all of a sudden, boom, blood's dropping, right? And so your blood pressure is going to drop. And so if you're at the low end of that and you stand up quickly, it's going to go even lower. And so he's got to be careful. In fact, he's got to eat a lot of, he's got to eat additional things with salt. The first thing he thought of was like a bag of chips, man. What was it, dill? He wanted some dill chips. Salt and vinegar. But he's fine. The guy's fine. He needs to drink more water. Like they said, he said about 80 ounces of water in a day. He's actually not even close to that. He drinks like a 24-ounce thing that he brings to school. And then they were like, well, does he drink anything else in the day? And I said, man, how many people we got in our house? You know how many kids? The man here has been cranking out with the lady. Lots of kids, man. And so there's like cups all over our house. Too many for the maid to take care of. And so it's like, what am I going to do? Say, hey, is that your cup, man? We should just get cups with names on. Something like that. All right, moving on. Last story before we get serious into some serious business. Police capture would-be stowaway raccoon at New York State. Dude, come on. Really? We talked yesterday about, maybe it's the same raccoon. The raccoon at the White House. That was all violent, going after people. Chasing them down, and all the journalists running for their lives. Probably a Trump supporter. He's like, I've had it. I've had it with you guys. Fake news. Oh. I'd say he was a Proud Boy, but it sounds like the raccoon instigated it. And Proud Boys never throw the first punch. They're counter punchers, man. They are counter punchers. Yes, but police capture a would-be stowaway raccoon at the airport. Aviation division officers captured this critter attempting to sneak into a flight at the Buffalo Niagara International Airport last night. He was interviewed and released back into the woods with a stern warning. Whoa, look at that guy. Look at that guy. He's trying to be sneaky. He's like, dude, you busted me. How did he get in there? What's going on? They're smart, man. They are smart. Wait a second. Angela in the comment section, I have extra cervical ribs also. I had to have one removed. Are you serious? You would only be the second person I've ever known. In fact, it's so rare, these cervical ribs, it's so rare that even the people who work in the x-rays, right, that are doing the x-rays and radiology over at the VA in Battle Creek and in Grand Rapids, neither of them had ever seen it. I'm like this, I'm this big thing to them. They even asked me, like, look, can we like, can I share it with the tech over in Battle Creek? We've been talking about you. Like, what? What? Do you have phantom pains? I've been told that. And did you have to talk to a neurologist? That's crazy. I didn't, man. Are you serious? I don't know why you'd make that up. Right? Obviously, you're serious. We got to talk. We got to talk. Okay. But they dealt with this guy. He's out. He's out. Niagara maybe making his way over to Jonathan's house, the manager. Yeah. All right, we're getting into business. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Let me see here. Main banner news. I wanted to use this. I used this yesterday. Let me just go to it right now. See this? I like the idea that the video is bigger. The problem with this, though, is that yesterday I cut off a bunch of words, so I got to be really, really cautious and careful to make sure that as I'm talking that I scroll up just enough. There we go. See that? This is absurd. People calling my house like crazy while I'm on the air. What are you doing? You ain't watching the show? I busted you. I got your name. I know who you are. I know who you are. It's okay, yes, but President Trump, don't let it dominate you. President Trump encourages nation in coronavirus battle in stirring video address on return to the White House by Kristen Taylor over at thegatewaypundit.com. President Trump recorded a stirring address to the nation immediately upon his return from a 3-day stay at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Oh. I've always said I didn't want to wear contacts. My wife always tells me, she's like, look, you're handsome no matter what. Right? You're a stud. But you look better without your glasses on. But I feel like I'm like doing the Mr. Magoo thing now. I'm like, what is it? I should get my reading glasses on. So whenever I have to read, I'm pulling the Joe Scarborough thing. Putting my glasses on, taking my glasses off, talking. I mean, it's a lot of movement, though. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. And there he is. Look at that. Great champion. What am I talking about? You know it. You know it's true. Standing between U.S. flags on the Truman balcony with the Washington Monument in the distance, Trump was strong, confident, and encouraging as he urged Americans not to be afraid and not let the virus dominate their lives. He spoke the nearly 1.5-minute speech without difficulty, having caught his breath after the walk up the steps to the balcony from the South Lawn. It had left him a little bit winded. See, this is going to be the debate. This is going to be the debate, and people are going to go, he was out of breath. And I will go, maybe, but he also might have been Wim Hofing it up. Right? I believe this. I mean, look at the tempo. I'm like, dude, he's doing breathe in, breathe out. He's doing it, man. I'm like, where was Wim? Where was he? Was he on a Zoom chat? It'd be a national emergency. I mean, you'd definitely get Wim on the line immediately. Immediately. But this is what he said. I just left Walter Reed Medical Center, and it's really something very special. These doctors, the nurses, the first responders, and I learned so much about coronavirus. And one thing that's for certain, don't let it dominate you. That dude, Wim Hof, man, I'm telling you, it's there's a video, you got to go watch it. Wim Hof talks about it. He talks about coronavirus and the Wim Hof method, and he and then people go, dude, you're peddling fake news. I'd be like, you're peddling fake news saying that he's like so overwhelmed he can't breathe. Give me a break. I'm looking on the bright side of life. And the evidence seems to be in my favor. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it. We have the best medical equipment. We have the best medicines, all developed recently. You're going to beat it. Now, look, people can say, well, not everybody's going to beat it. Some people are going to die. And you go, yes, statistically. That is just true. But I mean, people with, when you talk to somebody who's got cancer, right? They got cancer. The numbers are not nearly in their favor as they would be for anyone, any demographic, with the exception of somebody, you know, who may have just a whole bunch of different problems, underlying issues. But take the standard person and you say, you've got coronavirus. The odds of you being successful are much higher than if you are told you got some cancer. But yet, what do we say to people with cancer? I know this. My daughter had it, and she passed away from it. And yet, all the while, people are saying, you can beat this. Never, and that was her motto, never give up. Keep on smiling. This is what this is. And why did she say this? Because we have people around us that love us, family and friends. We have doctors that are doing their absolute best. We've got science and medicine through the roof. People are praying, reaching out to us. Yes. Yes, this is not this saying don't be afraid of it. Yes, man. It'd be like if the idea of cancer just crippled all of society. I am grateful for a leader who's going to stand up and say, look, this is part of life. But do not be afraid. Never give up. Keep on smiling. Work really hard. Try your best. We're on it as a group. Trump said, I went. I didn't feel so good. And 2 days ago, I could have left 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I felt great. Like better than I have in a long time. I said just recently, better than 20 years ago. Don't let it dominate you. Don't let it take over your lives. Don't let that happen. We're the greatest country in the world. We're going back. We're going back to work. We're going to be out front. Look at that, man. That's a leader. I'm sorry to say. All of the lefties, the people with a serious case of Trump derangement syndrome. You guys look, if anybody else was out there, if Obama was out there saying this, I would be glad that he's saying that. I would be glad. You guys, you don't even understand how captains of boats have to operate. You don't understand that. This is a serious situation. I'm glad for a leader like him. Art of the Meme in the comment section says, the left spent all weekend flip-flopping all over the place, and it really didn't play well with anyone except the radical left. The leftish media. Yeah. Yeah. And think of what this does. No matter what, no matter what, the media didn't get what they so desperately wanted. And that was maybe like the 25th Amendment. Maybe we should, he should resign. They were hyperventilating over it. He should maybe consider leaving all the way. No, man, what? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Would they want FDR to go because of his polio legs? What's up with that? He's got to go. He's got to go. No, man. What a joke. They were mad because he wasn't pushed out in a gurney. You know what I'm saying? Or carried off. They were sad about that. They would have loved those optics. But the idea of a president going and waving and doing thumbs up from a distance wearing a mask because he's a confirmed case of it, which is when you would wear a mask, I am sorry to tell you, that's true with every single virus. We sit there and they say, yeah, but you might be carrying it around and you don't even realize it. It's the same with the flu, and people die from the flu. It's the same with pneumonia. People die from pneumonia. I know this because I had to go with my daughter when she had to sit there and put a mask on and breathe in nasty freaking fumes called Pentam. They had to give her Jolly Ranchers because the taste was garbage. It was terrible. She hated it, man. It was like the worst. We have a meme about that. Pentam is so gross. And it shows her face. You can tell, man, she's hating every second of it. But the reason why, people with AIDS, people with cancer, people with diabetes, people who are old, like I've said before, all of us, every one of us, may in fact, from a God's eye view, be that cause of someone else's death. It's crazy to think about, but it's true, and it's been true forever. You don't realize that you've got pneumonia. You don't realize you've got the flu. You're over at the store checking out National Enquirer at the checkout counter, coughing all over the place, sneezing, and old Grandpa Joe, Grandma Sally Q, or Sally Sue, and Grandpa Johnny Q behind you with some diabetes, immunocompromised. They go up and they grab that thing, or they're touching the stuff you just touched, rubbing their eyeballs. Go home days later, they end up being sick because of y'all the whole time. You were fine. We made it through a flu season, and guess what? Somebody croaked, man. Somebody is gone. The idea, well, that's true. So now we should just wear them all the time. Not just because coronavirus, but because of the flu and pneumonia and stuff. It's a joke. It is a joke. Trump says, as your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. I stood out front. Thank God for you, man. Thank God for you. I'm not even going to lie. And people can make fun of me for this. I don't even care. When I saw the video I'm about to show you, I cried. I cried. I am so proud of Donald Trump. People, imperfect. Lots of things we can, if people said, well, what do you think about this? Or what about his personality about that? Or what about this statement over here? Whatever. I'm proud that he is our president. I am proud that at this time in history, I have never been more proud of my vote in 2016 than I am in 2016. And I am so proud to say that I will do everything I can to make sure that it happens again in 2020. I wear that one on my sleeve. I'm sorry. There is no, look, people can go, well, that's crazy. I can't believe you, Jeremiah. You're a smart guy. You read a lot of books. Yes, I do. Maybe that should give you reason to wonder, and not just wonder like, I can't believe he does that, but say, really, truly, I wonder why. And not in a cynical way that's like, I wonder why he's so crazy, but to say, I wonder why. What are the reasons why? And you know what? All you got to do is listen to the show. Or reach out to me, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. He said, I stood out front. I led. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. Great leaders, yes. Pathetic leaders, no. And sadly, we've got a lot of pathetic leaders, but he is not a pathetic leader. He will be in the Hall of Fame forever. Forever. I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. And now I'm better. And maybe I'm immune. I don't know. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there. Be careful. We have the best medicine in the world, and they're all happened very shortly, right? They've all happened very shortly. They're all getting approved. Vaccines are coming momentarily. Thank you very much. And Walter Reed, what a group of people. Thank you very much. I'm going to show you this video. I'm going to show you this video here. Let me see. I hope it has some audio. We're going to see. I did it yesterday. And by the way, in the comment section, showing fear will not change the outcome. Yes, it will not add one iota. It won't save a single hair on your head. Nothing. We do not live in a godless world. We do not have a godless worldview. It doesn't make us reckless. It makes us realistic. And it makes us so that we are not paralyzed by fear, that we try to seek, to understand, to know the best way forward. But not to be paralyzed by fear. As an individual, as a civilization, as a nation. Watch this. Yeah. Yes. That's so powerful. And to see him come back this way, people can say, "Well, look at the propaganda." They're playing fast and loose with this, by the way. They're playing fast and loose with this. Number one, that's what this is. I mean, everybody uses that term in a strictly negative sense, right? Propaganda. But what I'm doing here is propaganda. What the left is doing when they're reporting the news, reporting. That's propaganda. You think Anderson Cooper's not full-blown propaganda? You think that, and look, you think CNN, you think Fox News, you think Rush Limbaugh, you think Tucker Carlson. This is all, you're propagating, and I'm using the friendliest term for this. I'm using the broadest sense of this term. But yes, the idea that the president is coming back because they wanted the optics, and this is why it's a propaganda war. It's an information war. They wanted the optics of him coming out totally weak, hooked up on oxygen, struggling to breathe, being inside, staying quiet so that they could get anonymous sources or Mark Meadows. Get him out. Or Mark Meadows talking about he's really in a dangerous place. We're afraid he's dying. They would have loved nothing more than that. They're sick. There were people out there. There were people out there outside of Walter Reed. Basically, they sounded like the Westboro Baptist people. We're here to support the virus. Crazy lunatics. Imagine the mindset, the spiritual condition of a person who would actually do that. Just imagine. What a sick person, man. What a raging weirdo. Yeah. But they wanted that. They wanted the optics of it being really negative. That is propaganda for their boy Biden. It is. They wanted it. And they're, look. And you got to know in advance. None of this is predictable, which is why part of me thinks it's boring to talk about the mainstream media anymore. It's boring to talk about, these people here, for example. All right, where do we? I thought I had. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's do this. Let's scooch that bugger over there. It's boring to talk about Rachel Maddow. For one, I'm kind of tired of that outfit that she wears. She's like Inspector Gadget. She has the same outfit every single day. Do you guys notice that? It doesn't do well for her neck. Her neck is very long. She has giraffantitis or something like that. But the thing is like, it doesn't do well for her. Right? The haircut, the whole 9 yards. She'd do much better if she wasn't, acting like a man. But she's boring at this point. Predictable as the morning sun. Trump's performative return was an unnerving spectacle. He was struggling to breathe. What a joke. What a joke. I need more coffee. Had to guzzle it down with a straw, by the way. Straight to the dome. MSNBC anchor Rachel Maddow, this is Pam Key over at Breitbart, called President Donald Trump's return to the White House an, quote, unnerving spectacle of the president's really visibly appearing to struggle for breath during her show on Monday. Yeah, it's from a quote. I mean, the president walking up the stairs to the South Portico, but then turning out to face the camera while he could be, plainly seen gasping for air, huffing and puffing, mouth breathing, and trying to pull in air while his chest sort of rose and fell with difficulty, looking out at the cameras. You can take it in one of two directions. Number one, you could take the Wim Hof angle and say, look at the cadence of the breathing. Yes, breathing in, mouth breathing. Yes, wow, look at that. I do this every day, by the way. I do Wim Hof breathing almost every single day. Sometimes up to 25 minutes or more. I've said on the show here that I'm up to breath holds of 2.5 minutes on average. So I would say that, most of the breath holds I do, well, anywhere between 2 to 2.5 minutes, but 2.5 minutes is not very hard. It's just depending on which video. If I listen to one, I don't do it where it's completely quiet and I'm just breathing and counting and stuff like that. I like listening to something. I like having some music. I like hearing Wim Hof say things like, breathe in, breathe out. If you feel a tingling in your toes, it's okay. I love that, man. I'm not going to lie. But even if it wasn't that, there are videos out there that talk about when people have COVID, that there are breathing techniques that they need to do. One of them is, and it's a breathing one where I think you breathe in, it's like 5 seconds, and you hold and you breathe back out. It's kind of like the box breathing, I think is what it's called. And then on the fifth one, you cough from as deep as you can. I've seen doctors walking through this with people. The idea that he's having a really difficult time breathing. So one way about it is saying he's actually taking control. And let's even say that it's hard. Let's even say that if you had the flu, if you had pneumonia, you may also have something similar to that. But that shows a man in control, no matter what. Even if you say, well, he's not doing Wim Hof. Why do you keep mentioning that? Because I really hope people figure that out, by the way. I hope people figure that out and realize the role that can play within this whole thing. Even for just the focus and adrenaline control to deal with being sick. Or the fear that you might. Life-changing stuff. Not even kidding. Be careful, though. If you're on high blood pressure medicine, if you're pregnant, yeah. You got to look into it. It's like with anything else. You got to know what you're doing. But that's one way of looking at it, saying, yes, even if he is struggling, he's someone in control. He's taking control of the matter. But let's just say that he's not doing any of that. Let's say that the doctors at Walter Reed did not even talk to him about breathing at all. And let's just say that it was completely that he's, really struggling to breathe and he's up there and he's doing his thing. Again, he's a man in control. He's saying, look, yes, I am someone who is dealing with getting over being sick. I'm in my 70s. I just walked up a stairway. I'm about to give myself a speech here. And was he gasping for air? And how many times has Maddow shown the videos of Joe Biden doing that? During a speech. Yeah, really grateful. And all he did was just get up out of a chair. Propaganda. You got to know in advance. You got to know what you're dealing with, man. Mike Keith, I too was proud to have Donald Trump as our president when I saw him stand there as an example for the world. For one, Mike, I'm glad to see you. I actually saw a video, man. What is it? Bone. It was a band. Oh, it's going to drive me nuts. It was a band with the name Bone in it. And I saw you, and I said, oh my gosh, man, look at that. My favorite bass player of all time, by the way. Just letting everybody know, the guy is just a magician on that thing. He's amazing. And a voice, man. And that voice. You've known me for a long time, too, by the way. But Maddow goes on. I mean, after the president did this thing walking up those stairs, he ripped off his mask right before he walked to the White House complex. Not wearing it, right? He gets there wearing the mask, takes it off. And that's how he goes into the White House. This is a man who tested positive for COVID on Thursday, who had symptoms serious enough to require multiple days in the hospital and supplemental oxygen and all sorts of experimental therapies. Look, she's pretending that the way that they're going to deal with the president is the same as the way they'll deal with everybody else. Now, those treatments are equally available, but the idea that there is not an extraordinary urgency for the president of the United States is crazy. And this is the thing. She knows that the same way that guy from HuffPo, when I talked about that yesterday, knew that the videos of Trump inside of Walter Reed do not involve makeup. And you can tell even with the lighting that the hair is different. The color. What's so infuriating is that these people actually know. And we know what else they know? That most people do not. No, let me take this back. On many things that most people do not. On this right here, how many people would, if they were asked the question, do you believe that if the president gets sick or if there's some kind of medical emergency, that he would be treated with a greater sense of urgency and accessibility than anybody else in the United States? I don't know anybody who would go, no, we are just all equal. I don't know anybody like that. And the people who pretend are exactly that. They're pretenders. Rachel Maddow is a pretender. Same thing with, why are we talking about this lady? No. Why are we talking about this lady? Sick. WAPO neocon calls to defund Walter Reed after President Trump receives treatment. This lady is terrible, by the way. Did anybody ever really like her stuff? Maybe she was popular with the George Bush, Paul Wolfowitz crowd. You know what I mean? Like, that's its own brand of... It is. It's poop scoops. Poopity doopity scoopity. Washington Post columnist and neocon Jennifer Rubin called for Congress. If you saw her face, if somebody said, hey, do you know who this is? How many of you would even know? She's just deranged, man. She's been off the rocker for a long time. Congress might want to defund Walter Reed. It's a public health hazard. Blah, 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 blah. What a joke. The public health hazard that Rubin speaks of is one of the primary healthcare centers for injured military service members in the nation. Closing it would leave wounded soldiers and Marines to the uncertainty of the healthcare system in a global pandemic. Yes. Rubin seems the most upset that President Trump announced he would be continuing his recovery from coronavirus at the White House. She wants the president to remain in quarantine until after the election. Of course she does. Of course she does. She's part of the whole propaganda group that knows how this works. She's an information warrior. I'll give it up to her. But she's a rah-rah your own team kind of person. A 74-year-old obese man with COVID who might have lung damage and a pattern of disregarding medical advice is returned to an environment in which he may infect others. What planet does Connolly inhabit? Where's the rest of Walter Reed? The VP? They're remarkable cowards. No, they're not. No, they're not. What kind of splaining would the World Health not World Health. I better be careful. I better be careful with that. YouTube's been hacking people. Even in my own network. Hacking videos. You dare to talk against the global leaders. Oh, no. Screw you, YouTube. Yeah. But remember yesterday what it was? UN Women. Remember that? UN Women was talking about mansplaining. And saying, if you ever, before you talk, if you wondered if maybe this lady knows a little bit more than you about this, what would you call it if it's like going around the other way, where some ridiculous woman like Jennifer Rubin ends up saying something and you're like, isn't it possible that these medical doctors kind of know more than you about this? Have you ever thought about that? Maybe you shouldn't tweet that out. Maybe you shouldn't tweet that out. Well, just crazy talk. Rubin may very well be the worst opinion columnist in America. Oh my gosh. She recently ceased identifying as a conservative, a long overdue admission. Okay, yeah. It's sad that neoconservatism was ever even considered conservatism. This is by Richard Moorhead. You're a funny guy, man. I like you. Big league politics. Talking about, oh no. Look, if you guys been getting anything, that if you're sharing anything critical of lockdowns or anything about the origin of COVID, are you guys getting like kind of warning screens? I got one from Facebook talking about it, and it was another one of those little reminders, as if the thing at the bottom, the little thing sending me to the World Health Organization or the CDC or whatever of these organizations, that wasn't enough. And so now if you share something, I think even to yourself, that it will say like, are you sure you want to share that? here's some stuff by our authoritative sources. It's an information war. It's amazing that these people are the gatekeeper, and yet they're saying that they're not publishers, although they admitted in court. Deshaun Petgrave said, yes, I almost got blacklisted. Yeah, man. I know somebody who had a video removed recently for saying something that was not in line with today with the CDC, right? Or World Health Organization. Unbelievable. I guess we all just got to wait until these people in this one group figure it out. They don't even understand open sourcing, do they? Do they understand that? That if you say, well, what's the likelihood? And I'm seeing more and more people, right, professionals on this that are like, look, these internet sleuths, people who dedicate, they're knowledgeable of science, they're knowledgeable of viruses, they're knowledgeable of this, and they're coming together and they're doing their investigative work and sharing their stuff online. and finding that these things are helping dramatically because now you have an entire globe. Does it come with risk? Yes. Because you're going to get a lot of people out there talking about if you drink a certain amount of water, it's going to flush out the old virus. But are they burying it? There may be some culpability involved, but the huge resistance being mounted by the international scientific elite, the media, and vested financial interests against conducting an objective analysis of the origin of COVID-19 virus is primarily about money. Unsurprising. Unsurprising. Hold on a second. Got to fill it up. And look, I've got my big jug here of coffee. This is gonna take some more caffeine to the brain. Look at this. I don't know if I can show you this big huge cup. I'll show you in a second. And by the way, just so everybody knows, I don't even know if that was on camera. Just so everybody knows, most of the coffee I drink is actually decaf. I have very little caffeine in there. Okay, look at this big huge monster thing. I don't drink the whole thing. Obviously, I don't drink the whole thing. Don't even drink half of it in a day. But it's in there, and I had to run down, man. Normally I got my little French press thing. Not today. Not today. If it would be determined that COVID-19 pandemic resulted from a laboratory leak of a genetically engineered virus, it would not only disrupt the flow of huge sums of research funding, but adversely affect the investments of those vehemently opposed to President Donald Trump's efforts to make the U.S. economy less dependent on China. Therefore, make the U.S. less vulnerable to Chinese geopolitical blackmail. This is very true. This is very, very true. There's growing scientific evidence that the COVID-19 pandemic may have resulted from a vaccine development project gone wrong. In the comments, one of our little listeners says that caffeine makes the world go round. Yeah. Caffeine and Paleocrat Diaries. Those two things together. Those two things together, man. That is a merry-go-round of just pure bliss. An ad hoc group of scientific investigators known as Drastic have compiled a 36-point list to buttress their claim that COVID-19 virus could have originated in a vaccine development program. For example, a central mechanism for controlling immune responses is mediated by interferons. Is that a proper way to pronounce that? The COVID-19 virus seems to have some signatures in its genome which indicate this, compared to the coronavirus responsible for the 2002-2003 pandemic, to indicate interferon hypersensitivity. Or is it interferon? How would you pronounce that? Interferon. Probably. Another indication. Yeah, it's not interferon. Interferon. Hypersensitivity. Another indication is the accumulation of synonymous mutations in the spike protein compared to RATG13, which the global scientific elite claim is the nearest bat coronavirus relative. But the most striking indication of genetic manipulation of the COVID-19 virus is the presence of yeah, the manipulation of it is the presence of the furin polybasic cleavage site. How would you pronounce these? Look at this. I love listening sometimes to the way when scientists talk about this because it's so second nature to them. The way that you say certain words. Same thing with theology, right? There are certain words that if I talk to people or certain, certain fields of study that they'll read that and be like, how would they're trying to phonetically process it in their head. Yeah. Which does not exist in any closely related bat coronavirus yet identified. That's, yeah, okay. But what if? Now they're talking about stuff, a high-risk attempt to produce an intranasal self-spreading vaccine spray. This is a remarkable article, by the way. You got to go check it out. Global scientific elite trying to bury truth on the origin of COVID-19 over at the Gateway Pundit. And these are actually, look, self-spreading vaccines are essentially genetically engineered viruses designed, is a quote, to move through populations in the same way as infectious diseases. But rather than causing the disease, they confer protection. Now, stuff could go wrong, but that's also a great approach. Yeah, Jason Williamson says that I should come up with a different phrase for the word COVID-19. Well, I'm already in the tank on this one. Maybe I can call it I've heard somebody call it the coronavirus. The coronkadonk. I've thought about it. But look, man, the stuff that I talk about, I'm like, I know it's just, I'm flag central. All right, people are going to be flagging left and right. Oh my gosh, did he really just say that? The topics I talk about, it ain't just this one. I mean, this is obviously the hot one of the day. But look, man. Look, it's just the way this is. Yeah. But it's a good point, man. Look, come up with a word. What do you think? Those of you in the comment section, what word? If I stopped saying the word COVID or coronavirus and replaced it with a word that we make up, I typically oppose made-up words, like cis, for example. I think it sucks. Or Latinx. Or women. Like women with an X. That was Kroll calling. Yeah, I got another phone call. Yeah, I'm telling you. Have you guys noticed that, by the way? Is anybody else been getting more phone calls from random numbers? Or is it just me? It might be just me. I'm on their radar. I'm on their radar. I'm not even going to go into this very much other than to say, Brian Stelter, again, he's another person. Trump hospital departure is not a real show of strength, but a performative show of strength. What strongmen do. What leaders do. And what do you think the president of the United States is, man? I don't mean to be rude. Well, no, to you, yeah, I do. I do mean to be rude because you are a joker and you know this business. This guy, Stelter, is so bad at what he does. I mean, anybody, if you don't know much about Stelter, there's some really great documentary evidence provided by a guy named Mark Dice. Go check it out. Anything with Brian Stelter and Mark Dice, documentary evidence that Mark Dice sucks. That Brian Stelter sucks. I take that back. Mark Dice does not suck. Mark Dice is the man. I'm so sorry, Mark. I got caught up in the moment. I love you, man. I love you. Yeah, Brian Stelter is the worst. Yes, and if you haven't actually checked out Mark Dice, let me... If you haven't checked out Mark Dice, I've said this on the show before. Go check him out. Go check him out. You got to. I check him out every day. I go and I check his stuff every day. And some others. But he's the man. Trump hospital departure, not a real show of strength, of course, but a performative show. What a joke. What a joke. But we're done with that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Oh, this is okay. We got to say this. Look, huge top international epidemiologists launch petition for focused protections and an end to lockdowns, signed by over 1,700 medical professionals. Unbelievable. On Monday, top international epidemiologist Dr. Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, Dr. Gupta from Oxford, and Dr. How would we pronounce that? Bhattacharya from Stanford. So reps from Harvard, Oxford, Stanford joined Laura Ingraham on the Ingraham Angle to announce their latest initiative to reopen society and resume life in the West. For those who are not vulnerable. Kulldorff said, Most of my colleagues in infectious diseases are in favor of risk-based strategy or an age-based strategy. I've said this. What do they call that? A horseshoe? There was a phrase for this, and I mentioned it a long time back. I said it's going to happen, where it's going to start being selective about, like, look, we need to open certain things back up because we've gotten enough information to now know, well, these are the real problem spots, right? This is where stuff gets rough. Yeah. While the younger resume life more or less normally. Yes. Dr. Kuldorf then announced that his group put out a declaration this morning, and there are now over 500 medical health and public health scientists who have co-signed the declaration, as well as over 500 practicing medical professionals. The doctors, Dr. Gupta and Bhattacharya, echoed Kuldorf and explained how herd immunity should be the goal and could be accomplished in a relatively short amount of time, where even the elderly and sickly would eventually be safe to come out of lockdown. History will not shine brightly, by the way, on the lockdown people. It won't. It won't. Even the part where they can say, well, we were clamoring for greater protection. They were also the ones saying, hey, come on out to the, Chinese New Year festival. Ain't no thing. Or, hey, it's really xenophobic to shut down the airports or try to stop illegal immigration during this time. Not going to shine brightly on you. You are going to look pretty dumb. The Michigan AG will no longer enforce Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer's coronavirus order. Yeah. In light of the Supreme Court decision. Yeah, man. Not going to enforce it anymore. No more. Gretchen Whitmer is a crazed tyrant, drunk on power, who banned Michiganders from buying vegetable seeds at the grocery store, from growing our own food. To close sections like flooring and gardening centers and plant nurseries. Who does she think she... Do you guys understand this, man? Do you guys understand this? Just unbelievable, man. Just unbelievable. To sit there and believe that you have the authority, that is a dictatorial impulse. Maybe every leader has to suppress that. Maybe. That's the right, the inner demon thing, is to say you believe that you ought to be the one in power. You believe that you ought to be the one with the greatest power in your land. That inner demon inside is the one that says, you want all the power. You want it all. Yeah. The thing is, you normally fight inner demons. So if an inner demon becomes manifest, you got to fight that. And it looks like we did. It looks like we won. Unbelievable. In the comment section, let us live our lives again. Stop the great mongering. This is what I have to say to every political figure, media personality, etc. Lola J., I said, young man, there's no need to be sad. Yeah, I don't know what that's from. I won't read the rest because I don't know what that reference to lube is all about. Not entirely sure. Petgrave said, my cousin in London got a 1,000 pound fine for not wearing a mask in the subway. Plain clothing. Officers caught him and others. He is an older man, like 50 years old. 1,000 pounds. That's more, yeah, that's some serious loot. It's more than $1,000. More than $1,000. Moving along. I said I would talk about this one. Real life inception. As scientists figure out how to plant ideas in dreams, researchers at MIT have been testing a fascinating new technique called targeted dream incubation, which allows them to insert certain topics into someone else's dreams. It may sound like the plot of Inception, but scientists have figured out how to plant ideas in other people's dreams. Researchers at MIT's Media Lab's Fluid Interfaces have been testing a new technique called targeted dream incubation. In fact, people should look that up. The first thing you'll see is MIT, which allows them to insert certain topics into someone's dreams. Past studies have shown that when sleepers enter a rare dream state known as lucid dreaming, they gain awareness that they're dreaming and can thus have some control over what happens in their mind. Have you ever had that, by the way? I have. Only a couple times where I caught myself, and it was amazing. It was actually an ethical quagmire that I was in. In the dream, it would have been in my dream, it would have been a sinful scenario, right? The Lord hooked me up, even in my sleep. Even in my sleep. TDI achieves a similar result by targeting people during hypnagogia, or hypnagogia. How would you pronounce that? This is a show where we learn how to pronounce things. I need my staff on this. You guys need to put this out phonetically so I'm able to be like, okay, yeah, I sound a lot, Then I just have this this mind that just knows how to pronounce every single scientific term that's ever been done. Ever. A semi-lucid dream state that occurs as someone is falling asleep. Oh, look at this lady. Nice stock image. Simply put, this is according to, what's this guy's name? Adam Horowitz. That's the lead study author. Okay, gotcha. Simply put, people tell us whether the prompts appear in their dreams. Often they are transformed, like a tree prompt becomes a tree-shaped car. But direct incorporation is easily identified. The researchers found that 67% of participants mentioned dreaming about trees following the prompt. Each time they were awakened, their dreams became more bizarre and immersive. Yeah, in the comments, free advertising space in people's dreams. Isn't that just exactly? Isn't it? Unbelievable. But see, here's why it's especially worrisome. This is funny. Popular Mechanics wrote, government accidentally releases documents on psychoelectric weapons. They were mistakenly sent to a journalist. Mistakenly? Well, why did they even have it? You may not be able to see this. Forced memory blanking and induced erroneous actions. Reading and broadcasting thoughts. I'll take a second and read these. This is just mind-boggling. Literally. Induced changes to hearing. Both apparent direction and volume. Sometimes even content. Controlled dreams. Oh. Forced waking visions. Some synced with body motion. Transparent eyelids. What? Artificial tinnitus. Wildly racing heart without cause. Remotely induced violent, no rash itching. Forced nudging of arm during delicate or messy work, causing injury or spills. Forced precision manipulation of hands. Sometimes synced to the forced waking visions. You can go through this. Psychoelectronic weapons effect. Yeah, it's crazy. Journalist Curtis Waltman was writing to the Washington State Fusion Center, a joint operation between Washington State law enforcement and the federal government, to request information about Antifa and white supremacist groups. He got responses to the questions he asked, but also a file titled EM Effects on Human Body.zip. Inside were documents like this and like these. This is talking about mass and individual remote mind control via the mobile phone network and mobile phones. What? What? It's got the hertz here. Brain area. What the hertz are for that. Spectrums. Look at this. At least some of the images appear to be part of an article in Nexus magazine describing a 1992 lawsuit brought by one John St. Clair Akui against the NSA. Unbelievable. But they go ahead and they admit they've experimented with mind control. What do you think this is? What do you think the idea of inserting dreams? What do you think that is? Yeah. I won't go into detail about this, but yeah. Nunez is done. He's so ticked. I don't blame him. I mean, do you guys remember the way that he was treated as if he was a Russian shill? Do you realize they don't even use that argument anymore? When's the last time you heard, oh, he's still peddling for Russia. We need to arrest him. He's taking money from Putin. When's the last time you heard that? But he's talking about, look, he's saying, we've been blocked time and time again by the intelligence community. They've redacted stuff they should have never redacted. Months and months later, maybe even years later, we find out what's redacted and you go, oh my gosh, wow. It looks like you guys redacted something for an extremely political reason that benefited you, yourself. Nobody else, just you. Ain't that neat? Ain't that just neat? Institutional integrity. Well, we're so important that we need to make us look like we have integrity, even when we don't. I said that. Look, people can say all they want. When Trump said, "Let the JFK files come out," you remember that? You remember when he said, "Let them come out, let them come out," and I told people, I said, look, if the government says, wait a second, hold on. We think that this would cause a diminished trust in our institution, and we are a necessary institution for the United States. If they say that, they're done. It's over. We don't know exactly what happened, but we do know whose fingerprints were all over it. Certain narratives would go away because we'd say, oh, that narrative doesn't involve the federal government. Okay, yeah, that theory is toast. Oh, which, by the way, is the official theory. So the official theory is toast. So all those people saying conspiracy theorists, all those people, guess what? Guess what? You got played. You got played for a long time. It should have been obvious, right? Should have been obvious. And people like that are goons. So you sit there and you go, okay, well, that's weird. All of a sudden, the day, what was it, within hours on the day that the president was going to have this all released, all of a sudden, in comes the federal government. What was the FBI? We're asking that these files do not get released. Oh, man, yeah. Oh, because you guys, yeah, I know about that. You busted, homie. That's what's up, man. But he's had it. He's had it. He says, I think what Leader McCarthy said is exactly right. Every Republican senator and member of Congress should be saying, this is over. We want every dang bit of evidence that every intelligence agency has, or it's maybe time to shut those agencies down. Because at the end of the day, and Bartiromo, she goes, you're making, and he just kept going, our liberties. At the end of the day, our liberties are more important than anything else we have in this country. And the Democratic Party and the media who fails to report on it. She blames that this has all been stampeded over by these dirty cops. What he's saying is that these institutions, that's an immense amount of power, man. What did Lord Acton say? It's that whole, with great power comes great responsibility. Wasn't that Spider-Man? Right? That Uncle Ben. Soros operative openly pines for America to get overthrown and conquered by foreign powers. Look at this guy. Look at both of them. The guy on the right is George Soros. The guy on the left, who is that guy? What is his name? Zach Ford. Doesn't he just look like he would be hoping that America gets overturned? Just look at his face. Look at his face. Something about it. Something about it. A veteran operative of the George Soros network is openly pining on social media for it. Self-described queer atheist social justice. Oh, it's like multiple terrible things all on top of each other. A triple-decker poop sandwich, please. That's what that is. Self-described queer atheist social justice warrior. My gag reflex just... It goes off so badly. And yes, we've got confirmation. Confirmation, yes, it was Uncle Ben from Spider-Man. Oh, real-time confirmation, baby. That's what we're doing. I got the best listeners in the world. And the best staff. Except for the staff has been letting me down on the intercom. It should be here right now. It's coming. And I'm not joking about that, by the way. I'm actually being really, really, really serious. Yeah, so the self-described queer atheist social justice warrior, Zach Ford, made his declaration on his Twitter account. Anybody else feel like this would be a great time for the U.S. to be conquered? Like, not a violent war, just a really peaceful takeover. More like an intervention by all the other friendly democracies out there who've been watching what's been going on here. Here's Ford's idea of an ultra-effeminate coup. Oh, man. That would effectively revoke democracy for the American people because of his feelings. United States, okay, he's addressing the United States. United States, do you know why we brought you here today? Your Constitution was built on a foundation of inequality. All your branches of government have been co-opted by a minority rule. And you're endangering the whole world with your ineptness. What? In short, you're toxic. You should have said problematic. Toxic is obviously something that's problematic, but to a very problematic level. And we're just not putting up with it anymore. We're here to give you a fresh start, a nice little makeover, and something more resembling the much better forms of democracy we figured out since you got it all started back in 1619. I mean, 1776. What? What? 1619, what a dummy. So this guy's stupid on like multiple levels, right? So he's not just a degenerate. He's not just, sexually deviant and stuff. But he's also just not very informed. Oh, he's projecting too. We're just such a hot mess. You're projecting, Buddy Slice. You are projecting that. It sounds so much easier to fix things if we just got a full reboot instead of trying to make work everything as we have now. Wouldn't that be true in some ways? I mean, look, there's a point to that. We'd have a lot less car accidents and stuff if we just took away all the cars. If we just took them all away. It'd be amazing. The kind of fresh start we get. It'd be amazing. Go the first day and say, here's how many car accidents every single day that result in this much, and look at how much money we've saved, and nobody got injured from a car accident. It's draconian, yeah. I mean, okay. It's ridiculous, okay. But look, it's no, people are at least not in accidents. Take away his Twitter. We have one less El Stupido. Causing all sorts of problems in the world. And look, I'm not for taking this guy's Twitter account. Look, he can, bark and everything else that he wants to do all the time. I don't care. In fact, it makes for good podcasting here. you know. But at the same time, would the world be better if he wasn't tweeting? Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly. Moving on. I won't talk much about this other than to say, talking about tweeting and censorship. Hungary is censored on social media days before an online event exposing Soros-backed color revolution coup against Donald Trump. And it's totally true, by the way. Lessons from Hungary regarding the color revolution against Trump. I actually want to see that. There's a link here for that. So go to Big League Politics. You can find it. Lessons, or just go online. Lessons from Hungary regarding the color revolution against Trump. So scheduled to take place with journalist Jack Pacific and One American News on Saturday afternoon. The event is hosted by the Republicans for National Renewal and will feature Hungarian foreign prime minister, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but that guy is amazing. He is the kind of guy I wish we had. I mean, we do kind of have, old Mr. Miller. I'd say Miller is one of those. But just, a powerful guy. If you want to hear powerful interviews in defense of Christian civilization and a defense against the kind of satanic forces of globalism and multiculturalism and this diversophilia that is sweeping across the West and is coming to a powerful end, that if you want to hear that, you have to look into that guy. Amazing. Fahrenheit 451 predicted people would demand tyranny. In fact, I'll save this. I think I said I was going to save that from the last one as well. No. I'll talk about this one and then maybe one more, and then we're going to go right to the memes because I'm running out of time. Russia stands up to pedoflix, orders removal of all LGBT sexual propaganda from children's videos. Look at that, man. Look at that. Bravo. While Americans allow Netflix to sexualize children with perverted content, Russia is taking a stand against this degeneracy aimed at corrupting the souls of our youth. I love how they don't mess around. Like Big League Politics just says it. Any content featuring LGBT sexual propaganda has been removed from Netflix in Russia because of a law that prevents gay predators from targeting children. Shows like Kippo and Age of Wonder Beasts, Steven Universe, She-Ra, and the Princess of Power, and The Dragon Prince have been removed from Netflix's section for children. Russia passed the law in 2013 as the LGBT rights movement was taking off. They amended their children protection law to ban, quote, propaganda from non-traditional sexual relations non-traditional sexual relations to minors. Netflix could be fined up to $31,000 if they refuse to comply with the law. That's chump change, though. But they have fallen in line. Russian children are now protected from this demonic content. While some people may feel that Russia's move is authoritarian and allowing children to be preyed upon by pedophiles is a feature of American liberalism. That is kind of what it is, isn't it? That they're like, oh no, this is authoritarian. This is top down. You can't do that, man. Then essentially, yes, you are saying that, children being preyed on by pedophiles, that is a feature somehow of American liberalism. You're like based libertarian guy. Remember that? The content on Netflix has grown more extreme and perverted in recent months to the point of being borderline child pornography. Yeah. Bravo, Russia. Look, I one of the reasons I voted for Donald Trump is I wanted to have better relations with Russia. That's why I've been called a shill. I haven't gotten my money yet. My Putin bucks, right? I need to get paid. Thota Popinski, how are you getting paid? How are you getting paid, man? You're not even pumping out anything right now. You're not even pumping anything out. What's going on with you, man? You're slacking. Are you getting money still? Are you waiting for like an October surprise? What's going on with you, Thota Pop? Crisp with a lisp. We'll talk about that at a future date. Let me talk about this real quick. Holy poop scoops. Over the course of 3 years, the number of Americans who say that they feel justified in using violence to achieve their political goals has gone up from 8% to over 33%. This is a huge problem, which is why we have stuff like this. Report on rising far-left extremism raises concerns of possible mass casualty event. It's not a joke. A new academic paper studying the rise of violent far-left extremist networks warns of the possibility of, quote, attacks on vital infrastructure and even a potential mass casualty event. The Network Contagion Research Institute's report warns that militant anarcho-socialist networks, right, this would be Antifa, broadly speaking, there would be none, I don't believe there would be any militant anarcho-socialist network that, A, would fall outside the parameters of what we call Antifa, or wouldn't, of course, identify with it, are instigating violence in ways that parallel Islamist terrorists and white supremacist groups. Oh, totally. Antifa is a white supremacist group. And not in the sense that it's like, oh, so you're saying that right-wingers are doing this? No, I'm saying that these extreme lefties are, in fact, white supremacists. Go look at their groups. There's a reason why there ain't no black people, man. You got all these whitey people. And that's why it's the same problem with that riddles the group, like, what is it? Black non-believers. There used to be videos, and maybe they've grown, maybe. You know, that's a lot newer. That's a lot newer. But there was a time when black non-believers would have people at their booths wearing their shirts, and they're all white people, and they're lecturing black people about why they've been duped. Why they've been duped by the white man to be a Christian. And I'm like, they are super spiritual no matter how far you go back in history. They are a very religious people. And the idea that a bunch of whitey people talking about scientism, that's not white-splaining, according to your definition, is cuckoo. It's cuckoo. And it's because scientism, atheism, Antifa, these groups, they're imperial. Their impulse is imperial. Most worldviews, to be honest, most worldviews are. Because you want that worldview to be the one that is maintained. But little acceptance of anybody diverging. The NCRI's alerts have proved prescient in the past. The Institute released a report warning of spikes in anti-Semitic extremism shortly before the October 2018 Tree of Life synagogue mass shooting that left 11 people dead. By the way, if you don't follow True Pundit, you got to do it. True Pundit's a great source, by the way. Photographer went undercover with looters expecting to find white supremacists. Instead, he found anarchists. Imagine that. Jeremy Lee Quinn started photographing a Black Lives Matter protest in Santa Monica, California, on May 31st when someone notified him that people were looting a nearby shoe store. So he goes through, finds a bunch of these black-clad men wearing masks, behaved like supervisors as the store was looted. Oh. Quinn witnessed a black-clad white man break a store window with a crowbar following day. Didn't take anything from the shop, though. After reviewing videos of looting across the country, Quinn noticed similar groups of masked, black-clad supervisors. So he dressed the same way and he attended a protest. Quinn thought the supervisors would be tied to white supremacy groups. Instead, he found a group of insurrectionary anarchists. Yeah! Oh, go figure. Go figure. In fairness, some anarchists participate in pacifist civil disobedience, while others justify committing crimes like arson and looting by saying it wears down the capitalist economic system. I've got videos. I wanted to line them up. I couldn't put them in my Microsoft OneNote. So I wasn't able to do that. I was forced to log into that. And I didn't have time. And so, but I'll play these where people say, well, are you really saying that they're justifying looting? Yes, man, we got video footage of this over and over and over again. And even if sometimes they would be like, oh, well, that's a black person saying that. I'd say, you know what? Yes, it's a black person who is, theologically, philosophically at one with Antifa. At one. They embrace that radical revolutionary spirit. They are the animated form of that revolutionary spirit. We'll talk about that tomorrow. You see this? People thought this was fake. People thought when I mentioned this, I had some haters that were like, hey, you're talking about Black Lives Matter and the Proud Boys coming together and making statements about it. Oh, yeah. Not only that, this is just a forecast. Tomorrow, we will also talk about this. I denounce racism. Black leader insists Proud Boys are not white supremacists. Washington Times. We will talk about it. But first, we're coming down to the end of the show. Coming down to the end of the show. So, okay, it's time for the memes. And remember, if you want to share any memes with this show or any stories, serious, funny, doesn't matter, weird news, creepy news, I'm down with all of it. I'll read every single one. Make sure to send it to me at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com or you can send it, of course, by Facebook DM. And I've now made, I got a Telegram now. I've had it for a while as a kind of a storage bin of very, in fact, radical things because I track and monitor what I believe currently is a civil war. Okay, and because I believe this, I have lots and lots of things that kind of make evident that we are in a dangerous, dangerous place. I make extreme statements on the show. Ain't gonna lie. Make extreme statements, you gotta have extreme evidence. And so that's what I'm doing. You have extreme claims, you have extreme evidence. I've got it. So make sure to send it. And I meant to say this at the beginning, and I am so glad that we have at Paleocrat Diaries, we have a new member. Okay? Derek. A new member. And I want to start saying this. People who subscribe, we are genuinely working right now on putting together cups and shirts and other products that will go, that when somebody, and look, PDFs of things. I'll put together PDFs of the books that I'm writing and make it available for people who are members at paleocratdiaries.com. It's $5 a month. And every single bit of that ends up, every single penny that we've ever made through that site goes towards my children's education. I need to just say that right now. Every single penny. So I want to thank Derek. I got it last night, right? And I don't always bring up people who've done this, but I want to thank Derek and say, Derek, thank you not only for showing your support of this show, but showing your support of my family and the advancement. And I hope that as my children get older, that you will watch them and see what they do with their lives and know that you invested in them. And hopefully you benefit from my investing in the show that I hope can benefit you. Okay. Of course, you can become a member. Subscription's free. And it's not, believe me, it is not spammed. In fact, the one complaint I get is that it's not posted enough. But these are every day. And so I need to have a way where it just automatically goes and posts. So that people are reminded every day. I'm on 5 days a week, kiddos. You got lots and lots of video time to watch. Make sure to watch it at Paleocrat on YouTube. The more views that I get there, and the more amount of time that you watch. So if you just put it on and listen as you're doing your work or doing your homework, whatever you're doing, hanging out with your lady, right? This is the kind of stuff babies are made to. So, I can just imagine. People are like, what are we going to name Paleocrat? Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. So, but make sure the more minutes that people watch, the better that is for my channel. The better it is for being monetized, the better it is for sponsors and everything else. So once again, youtube.com/Paleocrat, paleocratdiaries.com. And thank you from the bottom of my heart, Derek, the newest member of the card-carrying member, freaking geek of the Paleo Naughty. here at Paleocrat Diaries. All right, customer, can you give me a quote? Mechanic, don't judge a book by its cover. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Mechanic, customer, I meant for the car. Mechanic, oh, sorry. Autobots, roll out. Yeah. I like these ones. I don't always like them. I know some people might not like it. Jesus, you see that man over there? He's a pedo. That guy over there, he beats his girl. This other kid is not a medic. He's a burglar. It's totally true. Totally true. If 2020 has taught us anything, it is that actors, athletes, and celebrities are non-essential. Totally true, man. Look at these people's faces. Do you really, really care about what they do anymore? I mean, movies, I get it, like every once in a while, because they're spread out and stuff. But do you actually care anymore? You're like, oh my gosh, Ellen. Who cares, man? These people hate you. Sports people, right now, they hate you. It's amazing. The NBA, least watched NBA final, what is it, of all time? You get what you had coming. I ain't interested. I ain't even watching. I'm not even watching the Lions. Kid, Dad, why do you always give us the good pancakes and eat the burnt ones yourself? Me, because that's what heroes do. Yeah. You know what, though? In honesty, I kind of like the ones that are a little darker. Right? Don't you agree? Don't you agree about that, by the way? The patriarch. I love this picture. Tell me if you know who that is and why he's the patriarch. What is this? Congratulations to the two winners of the doggo drawing contest. Remember that the winner of this contest is chosen through likes. Look at first place. Look at that dog. And look at second place. It's like really serious. I wonder if there were like words with it though. You know what I'm saying? Or if people are just trolling and saying that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Mainstream media, politics, COVID case counts, and in the background, oh yeah. You got all the dangerous things. This is the mask needed to prevent virus inhalation and absorption through the eyes. This is a mind control device. What's up with all these political ones, man? That's a good picture, though. I'm not going to be on. Yeah. Senior center. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Social distance. Say, Steve, come join us. Operation Human Shield will suffer heavy losses. By the way, that movie is hilarious. Oh, it's got an Antifa flag. Okay, I see. What the heck, man? Look at this. Look at those people. Look at those people, man. They're standing ground. We're going to take it for the team. That is Operation Human Shield if I've ever seen it. Teachers feel powerless as they realize their students are being red-pilled. It makes me feel like I've failed at my job. Maybe you have. Maybe you have. It should be a moment of self-reflection, by the way. Moments of self-reflection. There's not too many political memes. Dude, staff, you guys got to do better. Staff's got to do better. You got to organize these in a way that says, look, I don't want to be like all serious. I just got done being serious for like, 45 minutes? You guys are letting me down. I want to wake up with you for the rest of my life. I wake up at 5. I want to fall asleep with you for the rest of my life. Yes. Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. What is this picture all about? This is a really serious one, man. European Americans, remember your ancestors created America from nothing, who fought to stay alive, tamed nature, defended their families and communities against enemies. Without their sacrifice, toughness, endurance, intelligence, you wouldn't be here. Now is your turn to fight. Oh, this nun's definitely about to fight. All right, please tell me they're serious. Please tell me we're done with the serious ones. Okay? Please tell me. What's this? My mom. Don't fill up on bread. That's how they get you. Me. That's how they get you, coward. I will bankrupt this Olive Garden. Yeah, man. Isn't it true? And who cares, man? Eat as much of that as you want because you can take home the food. I do the same thing at Fazoli's, man. I'm like, just, bring over everything you got. I will eat it all. Give me all of the breadsticks right now. No, I'll totally bankrupt that. See, normally I would hover around these ones a lot longer. I love pictures like that. Is it the Palais Garnier in Paris? How would you pronounce that? Or this, the Song of Angels. I love this art. It's beautiful. Okay, what's this? Traffic collision report. Look at the deer's face. Look at its eyes. Look at its eyes, man. Oh, come on, man. Do you guys look? I'm nervous to put stickers out. Okay, I would like to have stickers and stuff. Although I'm kind of against the bumper sticker logic stuff, but I'm afraid that there's going to be people who will just slap my sticker on something that's like. Now, it might be funny if it wasn't your car, right? But if it's your car and you got a bunch of stickers, number one, come on, man. That's a lot of signaling going on. But number two, if you want to use this, if you want to use Paleocrat Diaries and put it on somebody's car, they won't even know. They wouldn't even know. Okay, the wife holding the dog's mouth shut. Oh, family talking about religion. There was a time where that was true. Yeah. Not so much anymore. How to make money work. Oh, dude, look at his eyes. He's like crying. He's like, what? Oh, no. Oh, no. Man, I'm scared. I'm nervous of doing this kind of thing. Because I don't want to get punked again. Introducing femboys, the most wholesome trend on TikTok. Is this real? I'll let you decide. You find out. I'm going to skip over the serious ones. I've been too serious for too long. Okay. Oh, look at this. I like these ones. Yeah. Girls with the time machine. I'm your granddaughter. Really? Boys with the time machine. A child will fall into your enclosure. Stay far away from it and do nothing. Oh, it's Harambe. Understood. Thank you. Yes. Oh, dude, Harambe. Oh. Every year, man, I think I want to start doing something, in memoriam for Harambe. He was an awesome guy, didn't do nothing wrong. Super sad. Okay, we got, yep, okay. Let's see here. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, I think we're going to see more of those, man, because as this whole trial thing goes along. Metabolism privilege, what the? If you have a faster metabolism, you have metabolism privilege. This means you're more predisposed to having a fit, but not more beautiful body than most. Actually, yes, it is more beautiful. Yeah. You're more likely to fit the media's glorified ideal. That's actually kind of like, for the most part. Now, there are extremes even within the media's glorified ideal. You've got, it's a bell curve all the time. Bell curve all the time. There's kind of, look to the media. You say, look at a lot of these people. There's a reason why people generally will be attracted to some people and not others. The majority, right? There's a reason why. Oh, it's got an FU word in there. Come on, man. Of course, they can't really talk very much without using that. What's this? In 2023, the globalists unleashed their clone army to enslave Earth, but a leader rises up to unite mankind for one last stand. U.S. Alex Jones. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Okay. Dude, he's looking pretty buff. That ain't real. No way. No way. That is a very well put together meme, though. Obviously. Why hasn't the governor gone to TV to inform the citizens that Michigan is open? Maybe even send an emergency alert on cell phones. Why not? Yeah, that's a good point. A good point. I hate white people, including myself. I hate this country. I want to burn it all down. Vote Democrat. No, that's insane. People who actually research for themselves. literally anything the news says. And is that what? No way, man. No way. That's messed up. Oh, this is messed up. California's Kamala Harris becomes first Indian American U.S. Senator, 2016. Biden picks Kamala Harris as running mate. First black woman. Whoosh. Now you're black. What is this? And some of these memes I got from Myth vs. Reality. Hilarious stuff, by the way. Mayonnaise. The idea of eating mayonnaise just by itself, dude, no. Have you ever tried to eat mayonnaise on a hot dog? I puked. I couldn't deal with that. LGBTs, can you believe they used to electroshock gay men to make them straight? Injects 9-year-old boy with hormones so he'll grow boobs. Yeah, that is so true. Only a couple more and we're done. We're done. My idols are shadow banned and my enemies are all verified. That's actually true. Yeah. Overnight sign thief captured on camera in Hanover County, Virginia. Mechanicsville? If anyone recognizes this creature, DM me. What is up with that? That looks like meatloaf. It looks like meatloaf, doesn't it? Doesn't that look like meatloaf to you guys? DM Amy DC right now. Look, that's why we haven't actually put our Trump signs out. I've got two of them. And we've got a camera in our front. We've got a camera as well. But I'm surrounded by Biden stuff, man, all up and down the street. I am the only Republican on my block that I know of. If there is any others, they're just keeping real quiet. Real quiet. I think they all know about me, though. It's like it's one of those screw around and find out moments. Screw around and find out. You don't want to mess with the big dog. Period. Last one. Last one here. It's called a smartphone. In 2007, it's called a smartphone. It can do everything. 2020, stare into the nightmare rectangle and watch society collapse in real time. Yes. Yes. Memes masters. Okay, and you'll get a little here. I'll even put so you kind of know what I do here. Watch this. I'm gonna put my little and some of the serious ones that I skipped over. Some of those are pretty good. I might actually just use those as topics, like the let's talk about what's the idea that sexual racism, the idea of like that you may not be attracted to somebody of another race, and it's all like white people. This is for white people, and I'm thinking every single group in the world does that. But we'll talk about that tomorrow, as well as a bunch of great stuff. And we're going to talk about vegans appropriating food. In the meantime, go to paleocratdiaries.com. You can actually reach out to me there, you know. That's kind of a cool little setup, too. There's a DM inside paleocratdiaries.com. That way, you don't have to go to Facebook and be monitored by the deep state overlords there. This is an intelligence operation, by the way. Facebook and Google. Oh, man. Yeah, Julian Assange, in fact, wrote about stuff like this. This is all public news at this point. Paleocratdiaries.com. And for interviews, speeches, and other inquiries, contact paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. So if you would like to be on the show, if you'd like to have me on your show, I'd love to. If you'd like for me to come and speak to your group, organization, I would love to do that as well. Churches, homeschool groups, all of that. Connect with me. There's actually a place at the site that talks about it. And any other inquiries, questions, answers, criticisms, you tell me you hate my guts, I'll reply to you. You email me at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And of course, check out my work at Paleo Cheese Podcast and Meaning of Catholic. And in fact, I've got some writings over there. I encourage people to go check those out at Meaning of Catholic. We're going to be having some great shows come out, including Friday, the 9th. The 9th is going to be a conversation between me and Mr. Timothy Flanders about whether or not Catholics have a very sufficient reason to feel compelled, in fact, to vote for Donald J. Trump. So make sure to check that out. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. You're not going to want to miss that. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me. Great times, great days. And tomorrow I'll try to do better about being there at 10. I'll try to have that intercom. I'll try to have it set. I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. You'll love it when it's there. It's big plans, big plans. So until next time, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.